Now we have our 3 zones for our HVAC system, and if you remember correctly, each zone has 3 types of HVAC equipment in it. A blower, a heater, and a chiller. If we look at our tag list, you can see here for zone 1, it's a blower, chiller, and heater, and we have the same for zone 2 and zone 3. Now the tags available to us are going to be power usage for each piece of equipment in each zone, and also the status of each piece of equipment. So whether it's running or not running. Now, also from when we looked at the table lookup data reference, you remember as an example of a SQL link table, we had this HVAC equipment table that gives us a lot of nice sort of maintenance or nameplate type information on codes and install date, manufacturers, serial numbers for all the different equipment in our system, and also the preferred name that personnel in our facility like to use. So we can see that for every piece of equipment, regardless of whether it's a blower, chiller, or heater, we have all of these different variables common to all the different equipment. And you can see from a PyTag perspective, we also have power usage and the equipment status available for every piece of equipment. So what we can do is, if we want to be able to do comparisons across all of our equipment, is just build a new template. And this one will just be a general equipment template. So we're basically looking at the attributes that every piece of equipment has in common, and we'll put them into this base template. And then we'll see from there how we can derive equipment-specific templates from this base template. So first we'll want to start by defining our attributes. We'll look at those 2 PyPoint attributes first. So we had the power, and for UOM, we saw from our spreadsheet that all those tags have incoming units of kilowatts. And we'll use a double for those. And these are going to be PyPoint. Now here, just as a placeholder, looking back to our zone example, we would want to use some sort of substitution parameters to define our tag names, since we have this nice tag naming convention. But just for the purpose of example, I want to show you how we could use the AF Builder tool in Excel to match tags to attributes in bulk, because we might not always have such a nice tag naming convention to go by, and we'll have to do some manual mapping of PyTags to attributes. So here, I'll just select the power for the first piece of equipment in zone 1, and we'll kind of use that as a placeholder, and our incoming units again are kilowatts. So it's good practice to go ahead and define that. And then we'll go and get that other PyTag. This one will be status, and no UOM for that. That's going to be a string tag. It's going to say either active or not active. And again, it's PyPoint. Let's hit OK here, and we'll reuse this PyTag here. If you remember correctly from our tag definition, all of the power tags have a code that starts with J, and all of our status tags have a code that starts with Y. So here I'll just go in and change this from J to Y. So now I have my 2 attributes based on PyTags. Next I want to get all that information that we're going to import from the table. So first I'll look in my table, and let's just start with equipment type. Make a new attribute, and we're going to call it equipment type, and that's a string. And here we're going to use the table lookup, and so we want the HVAC equipment table, and we want to return the value from the type column, where the name of the equipment is equal to, and here we'll use the substitution parameter %element% because we want to match the name of our element to the name that appears in the table, and then return the equipment type from the table. So we'll add that condition, hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and check this in. And next we'll look at how we can use the PyBuilder tool to go ahead and build out the rest of these table lookup data references in bulk.